Hello everybody, welcome back to Creating Haley. I am Kimberly at Creating Haley, and today we are making a mug rug. And this is by commission. So I was asked to make a set of coasters, a summery type of coasters. So I know this person loves sunflowers. So we are doing 4 mug rugs or coasters in sunflower theme. So, let's just dive right in here. So, what I did for the foundation, so you guys know that if you've been watching me for a period of time, you know that I save the dryer sheets. So, I run the dryer sheets through probably twice, the dryer twice, and then I save them instead of throwing them away. And so I figured today I'm going to use these dryer sheets as the foundation for my mug rugs. Now this is probably going to be 2-part video because I'm not going to be able to do everything today. I'm not going to get everything in on this video because I want to kind of keep them short and editing is troublesome. So this might be a 2-parter. But anyway, I cut a coaster, so basically a coaster is about 3 inches or 4.5 inches. So what I did was I cut the foundation 5 inches. So I took the bigger, because normally I cut my dryer sheets in half and just use a half in a dryer sheet in a laundry load. But some of the ones that I just didn't, the full size ones, I was able to cut, here, I'll just show you here. I was able to cut 5-inch squares. So these right here, I cut into 5-inch squares. And then I bought specific fabric in the theme of sunflowers. And then I bought coordinating colors. And then I just cut 1.5-inch strips from that fabric. I just cut 1.5-inch strips with the fabric. And then I just placed them on here and I kind of trimmed them up to overhang the 5-inch foundation piece. Okay. And then I know this is going to be short, so I kind of just laid them out in an array that I thought that might be visually appealing. And so they're all a little bit different, but I noticed on this piece right here, so let's shift this around. So I noticed on this piece right here, this is a flaw in the fabric. There was a thread over top of where the ink was supposed to go, and so now that created a flaw. And in a scrappy quilt, that's not going to be a problem. But in this piece, because it's commissioned, I'm going to take this out. I didn't realize that until after I had already cut the piece. But that's okay, because now you can see how I do this. So here's a 2.5-inch strip of fabric. And then I'm just going to place this on here. So this is how I do this to minimize waste. So I just place that on and I see where the edges of my foundation are, and then I overhang a little bit, and then I take my scissors. Where are my scissors? Right here. I take my fabric scissors and then I just cut a little bit of overhang on the same kind of diagonal where that is, right? So it's overhanging, and you guys can see that. All right, so that's how I did that. And then I'm going to show you how to sew these onto the foundation. So let's set this one aside. We're going to start here. Now I have white thread in the bobbin and I have yellow thread on the top. So this is all different colors, green, yellow, blue, but I'm just going to use a yellow thread. Actually, you're not even going to see this. You know what? I'm going to save my yellow thread because, look, it's a small bobbin. So I'm just going to use white thread here, or actually this is a whitish cream color. So let's just show you how I do this real quick. Although you already know how to thread your bobbin, or how to thread your machine. But just in case newbies are doing this, it's once you get the hang of it, it takes very little time. Now I do have an automatic threader right here. However, according to a machine mechanic, a sewing machine mechanic, they tend to bend pretty easily. So mine bent years ago. Yeah, like soon after I bought it. Okay, now the other thing that I do once I thread the bobbin is I put in a test piece, and I just make sure that everything is running. Oh no. So it's telling me that my bobbin is almost empty. So check out my bobbin. Yep, it's almost empty. So for video's sake, you know what? I don't have another piece, guys. I don't have another bobbin threaded in that same color, but we're going to use this. So that was an unexpected delay. Sorry for that. But again, you can see how quickly this comes together. And again, I'm going to test my fabric to make sure everything, yep, or not my fabric, the test fabric to make sure everything comes out right, and it does. So we're good there. Okay. Now, I'm going to start at the diagonal, and this is kind of the order that I want this in. So, I'm just going to take set all these others aside. This is my middle piece. I'm going to leave that down. Then I'm going to take one other piece, and I'm going to place that right sides together. Now you want to make sure, as you can see in the video, that the pieces overhang. So you want to make sure that your fabric overhangs your foundation and that these edges are lined up. Now I'm not making this super scrappy. It's, you know, a little bit scrappy, but it's not super scrappy. So I don't want it to be you know, like awkward looking. Okay, now finger press this open like so, and if you want to, you can iron it. I'm not going to iron it. I'm going to take this piece, what I had next planned, and again, right sides together, overhang the edges, and do your seam allowance. Now I am using 1/8, a solid 1/8 seam allowance. You can do a quarter inch seam allowance. I'm trying to maximize the amount of fabric showing, so I don't want to, I really don't want to do a quarter inch seam allowance, but you want to make, but this is pretty good fabric. This is good quality quilters fabric, and so it's pretty heavy, and so it's not really going to fray a whole lot. And then, you know, of course I'm going to quilt on the top of it, so it should be pretty good. Now you can see when I had laid out the fabric, it did not overhang this little corner. So I knew I was going to lose fabric width in the seam allowances, so that's why I have a couple of extra little teeny tiny pieces cut, and I can use those at the end, but I'm going to use that at the end. So right now I'm going to hold off on putting that down, but I'm going to place the other side. So now I'm going to work on this side. So again, take my fabric, right sides together, overhang the edges, and then if you want to visualize it, then you just pretend that you sewed it down, and then when you look at it, you can see that the fabric overhangs on the edge. So you know you're good there. All right, so let's scoot that in. So again, right sides together, overhang the fabric edges over the foundation, line up this edge, and then seam allowance, whatever you want. I'm using an 1/8 of an inch right here, but you can use a 1/4 inch, and that is recommended. And once you do that, open up the fabric, finger press, or you can machine press. And then again, this is the piece that I'm going to use here. So I'm going to place this down, right sides together. Make sure it overhangs. Make sure your foundation is flat too. If you realize that your foundation is starting to bubble up or not buckle, but you know, like crinkle up, make sure you have a flat foundation, because that's what you're working off of, is the foundation. Now you can see on both corners here I have a little bit of hangover. So I actually have this little bit of yellow left over from a different project that I'm going to use right here. And I'm going to place it this way, because this actually may get lost in a seam. So I'm going to make this maybe a 1/4 inch seam allowance right here, so that more of the yellow shows. And you'll see what I mean when I open this up right here. See that? So more of the yellow is going to show. And then when I trim this, that corner will show more. And then so I could potentially do the same thing here with that yellow, or I could take this flower. Maybe I'm going to do that. I think I'll do that. Place this flower here because it looks right. And then when you open that up again, on the back, you can see where the foundation goes. So I know that I have all of that foundation covered with the fabric. Plenty. Here, let's do a close-up. Plenty. See that? Yep, you got that, right? Yeah, you got that. Okay. So now I'm going to set this aside. You could gently press it if you want to. I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to make more. Actually, no. Right now, all I'm going to do is... So you know, when I make the other 3, I'm going to make them in the same fashion. So now, what I'm going to do for the camera is find my cutting board and my rotary cutter and this. So I'm going to turn it upside down, actually, so I can see where the foundation is. Here we go. So I can see where the foundation is. Line up my ruler. Now, I'm not sponsored by this company, but this is an OmniGrid, so I'm just going to line up my ruler on the edge of the foundation there. I know it's already in a 5-inch block, so I just want to make sure that I cover the foundation. And I'm going to trim it up. Okay. Now, if you have a twisty mat, you can just twist your mat. And this is a 6-inch square. So the way you measure a 6-inch square, if you want to get a smaller measurement on here, is to line up the edges at the final measurement. So I know my final measurement is 5 by 5. So I'm going to line up the edges of my cut piece right here on the 5-inch line and 5-inch line. Now, your ruler is going to be different, so you do it however you need to. But I know this is a 5-inch square, and so this is a 6-inch ruler. And so that's how you do that, to make sure it is square all the way around. Okay, and now trim and trim. And there we go. Now let's show you those teeny tiny little pieces. See how tiny that is? And then the sunflower right there. So that may actually get lost a little bit in the seam allowance, but that is our top. So this is the top of the coaster. And then we're going to put a backing to this and a batting in between, and probably 100% cotton so that the water absorbs into, because it's a coaster, so the water will absorb into the fabric. So you want a 100% cotton fabric, and then a backing for that as well. So the batting, 100% cotton, and the backing, and then we're going to make it in a pillowcase style, so we're going to turn it inside out. So in the next video, I'll show you how to do that. So go ahead, and if you're following along and you want to make this, go ahead and get your fabric and whatever foundation that you want. I happen to use the dryer sheets, but you can use whatever foundation you want. If you just want to put it right onto the batting, that is a good idea too. You can do that. Put your fabric, your decorated fabric, right onto the batting in the same exact manner that I did, and then you can just add your backing to that. And your backing can be another one of these, actually. So it can be reversible. All right, guys. So stay tuned for the next video, and we'll do more of this quilting. You know, we'll make the sandwich. We'll do more of the little guys. All right. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.